Real quick, some of these tools that you might want to use for doing your body work. This is about hand tools. Um, there are several more. I'm not sure where they are right now in the shop, but most of these are pretty much the ones that I use the most. So what these are right here is these long things here are probably one of the most useful tools. These are paintless dent removal tools. So you can take one of these and you can push it way up into a panel and then use this handle here and twist it and then push areas out. I don't know how much these cost. I'm sure they're not cheap. I ended up finding them at a garage sale. People didn't have a clue what they were. I looked at them and I grabbed them and I said, well, what do you want for these? I got them for like 20 bucks. So not even that. They had no clue. This is a really useful tool right here. This is a body spoon. Typically it could be used for the inside of the panel and then you use a hammer, but actually I've seen guys use them as a hammer themselves because it's nice and big and flat, and it actually works pretty well for doing that as well. Not necessarily designed for that. It was really designed for the inner panels, to push dents out. Whenever you do dent, you need something on the inside for the low, and then you hammer on the outside for the high. So you need something on the inside. Those are long reach to get in for panels that you can barely reach in there. You can't reach your arm all the way around. This is a dolly for you work on the inside of the fender or hood or door or whatever panel. And then the outside of it, you're going to, again, hold that on the low spot and you're going to hammer down the high. You never want to hammer directly on your dolly. If it sounds like that, you're going to stretch the metal. And so these are some of the body hammers. This is a square-ended hammer. I've had this hammer for 35 years or something. I think it goes back to the beginning. These I acquired. A friend of mine is too old to do this stuff anymore, so he got a whole bunch of his tools and gave them to me. So you can get a little set of these at Harbor Freight Tools to get started with, and they're okay. This is a good hammer. This is not a cheap hammer. The difference is, if you look at the machining on the cheap hammer, like this is a good quality hammer right here. It's kind of, the heads are kind of rounded right here. It's rounded very slightly, and the cheap ones are more flat. Same thing with the dollies. Over the years, I started out with like a cheap set from the swap meter but you see how these are just slightly rounded every direction. These are a better quality dolly than the cheap ones you get there. But if you wanted to get started, those are fine. Same thing here. You'll look at the ones you get at Harbor Freight Tools, and they're flat, and this one's just slightly rounded. See how it's rounded all the way along? This is another dolly that you're going to use to hold behind different areas. Like this would maybe go in a part where the panel's really not much access, and you can push out a little bit and then hammer on the outside on the high spots. One of the tools you're probably not going to need much is one of these slide hammers, which seem to be everywhere as a dent puller. I've seen more stuff stretched and ruined from these than I ever have repaired correctly. But it is something to keep in mind to have. Usually the best thing to use is a spot welder, which I have another video on just that. You can look and search through my videos under spot welder. Harbor Freight Tools has one for like $100. and it welds a stud onto there so that you're not drilling holes. If you drill holes, then you're gonna have to fix holes. So, and usually you're pulling too much on these. Guys they pull these and pull them and pull them, and they till the threads blow out right here, and then now you've got a mushroomed head, and you got to fix that because you can't just put Bondo over that. You'll have way too thick of a Bondo, and it'll probably end up cracking. If your Bondo's on 1/2 inch thick, it's probably going to be a problem. So, or more. One of the most important tools is this thing right here. If you can find a set of these, I'll show you what goes along with that. Is this, the tight access one, and this long one. I use probably this tool more than anything. Like if you get a door edge or your hood edge, it has a little dented in spot, you can have it hooked up and just slide this in there. This thing's getting worn out because you see how it's bent. I'm gonna have to re-straighten it, and about ready for a new one. I think this one's pretty much stretched out. See how this is all bent? This used to be a straight hook. You can pull out a lot of things with this tool that I can't tell you all the places you could use this. These, I mean, everything here I use all the time. You're picking hammers. This is a chisel hammer, picking hammer. These are for your nibs. A lot of times guys, you'll see them hammering on a nib like this. You know, you almost can never get one that way. So you hold this hammer in place and you hit the end of it with this one. So that's usually what I do. I'm not that good where I can knock them down every time. But another really important tool is this tool right here. What this is called a shrinking hammer. You're going to need this because you're going to screw up. Everybody does. You over hammer and you'll make the metal to where it has a drum. You push it in and it goes in, push it back out and it pops out, and then the metal does this. Then you've pretty much stretched it. And a lot of the new cars, there's such thin metal already that you have to start with shrinking. You're going to have to shrink some stuff. You need either a propane torch to do that, which they have a great one at Harbor Freight Tools for that, or you will need a better yet, an oxyacetylene, and while it's hot, you use this hammer to shrink it, to knock it down. And what it does is, see these little tibs on here, they actually bring the metal together like that, and then you cool it down with a damp cloth. So just watch some of my other videos and you'll see some stuff on shrinking metal. You'll see some stuff on restorations if you're working on something. You'll see some really cool stuff to use these tools, and I use all of them. These aren't just brand new stuff. This is by someone who's experienced and knows what they're doing. I've done hundreds of cars restorations over the years, and I used to work in a body shop as a painter. And if you guys know anything about that, usually the painter more is kind of running the shop. Everything revolves around the painter. The painter's no good, the shop's no good. But I just hated dealing with the people, and I remember having black cars come in and you just go, oh God. You know, a black Porsche came in. I remember painting that, working on that. Actually, somebody else, there was another painter there, and he painted it, and then they wanted me to fix it, and it was just, it was ongoing. Car never went away. I just got to the point where it's like, you know what? I think I want a career change. I'm done with all this stuff. So, anyway, that's it for hand tools.